looking at one of these and we're gonna model it. I'm thinking about modeling this little fluffy cloud over here. All right, I'm thinking about this guy, or maybe this little bullet dude. Um, let's see. What am I feeling? Ooh, this guy hasn't been made. Or this guy. These guys are cool. This guy might take like 2 days depending on the class. So, some of the larger ones will take like a couple of classes to finish, but there's some that I can, kind of wrap up within one class. And as we go through, we're going to just try to knock all these out so that you guys have a good frame of reference for how to kind of tackle pretty much anything. And I'm gonna go through some different techniques. So I'm gonna try to make this little fluffy cloud here. So let's look at some of the characteristics of this here fluffy cloud. Let's select this Alt Q to isolate our image here. So looking at these fluffy cloud friends, they're very happy. Yes. We're gonna Bob Ross it. So there's a few things I'm thinking. There's a few ideas that I have. So the first idea that I had of making this is maybe I can just make a bunch of like little spheres or something, right? And then combine them together, and then start booleaning stuff out of it. So like make like a bunch of these to make a cloud or something. Then I was like, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds laborious. Let us, if this method that I'm going to try doesn't work, then we might go back to that. So what I'm just going to start with a sphere. All right. And there's some new tools inside of 3ds Max that are really cool that help us kind of retopologize things after we've gotten where we need to kind of go from there. So let's see. So if I hit F4, right, you guys remember F4 brings up my wireframe. Actually, let's turn on no board. If you guys have been in my classes before, you know what no board is. No board is just my keyboard, my on-screen keyboard that shows me what's really going on. Shows you guys what's really going on. All my keystrokes, all my buttons and stuff. So if I middle mouse click, you'll see it here, so that when you guys watch the video back, you know exactly what I'm doing, and you guys don't really have to, ask or say, hey, what button did you press there? Well, the button's right there. So let me just run you guys through no board right quick. So with no board, at the top, you've got your F1s through. It's pretty much mimicking a keyboard. But if you're looking for my mouse button clicks, you can just look over here to where the keypad is, and right above the keypad, you can see what my mouse pointer is doing, and then you can see whether I right click or left click or middle click, right? So it's very sensitive to those kind of inputs, and it shows you guys those responses. So yeah, let's get back to this. Let's get back to our guy over here. So I'm gonna rotate this because what I've noticed is there's a pole right here, so this might cause me some issues. So what I mean by pole is all of these edges right here, they're meeting at the center, and at the center you've got a pole, and generally what we call this, right, where all of these meet, it's called a high valence point, right? Because there's a lot of lines that are meeting here, so it's called a high valence point. If you guys ever see that or hear somebody says, "Oh, there's something wrong," the reason you're having weird shading issues is because you have a high valence point. That just, in layman's term, it just means you have a lot of lines, a lot of edges that meet at a single point, right? And if you try to smooth it, you're gonna see how it's smooth. So let's look at this guy again. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. And you guys know I go on rants, so like you guys can see what I'm talking about. So like at this point, right, let's now hit Alt X. So you're gonna get some weird shading issues. Let's go to PZ. Whenever you try to smooth it, let's go to the, okay, it's right here. So now I'm gonna show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's like a little starfish that's showing up. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see that little starfish?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys can see that. So that's what I'm talking about right there. And that's because we've got this kind of high valence point area where all of these lines meet at this center, right? So there's other ways that 3D artists do spheres. So what they do is sometimes they'll start with a box, right? And you guys might, if you've taken my class, you might know about this technique. So you just want to start with a box. So I'm gonna just align it to this guy right here. Let's align it to the center, XYZ. Make sure, and then hit OK. So now we've got our box aligned to our sphere, and it's just for alignment, nothing else. I just want to show you guys the difference in the topology whenever we finish with this. So with this box, let's add 20 length segments, 20 width segments, and then 20 height segments. All right. So now we've got this kind of even quad topology going on here. So let's make sure that our box is a complete box. So I'm just gonna make it 9. And then 9 by 9 by 9, so it's a perfect box, right, all the way around. So make sure it's there, and then I make sure that it has the exact same amount of length and width segments. So now we've got squares all around, squares everywhere, right? This next step is going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to add what they call a Spherify to it. So I'm just going to type in, click S on my keyboard, and what that's going to do is just going to cycle to the S's. So I'm going to find Spherify right here, click on Spherify, and what that does is, let me Alt Q this so that I isolate it. So let's take off that Spherify. So if I Spherify it, it's going to take our cube, and it's going to do just that. It's going to spherify. But the good thing about this is the topology that we get out of it, right? Now all of our topology is quads, and we don't have poles or high valence points everywhere else. So now let's do a turbo smooth on this guy. And now when we turbo smooth it, we don't get any of that that starfish or anything anywhere. We just get nice quadded topology. And this is another way of making a sphere, a rounded box, if you want better topology for yourself. Sometimes, right, you might want the topology of this a regular sphere that it makes, right? Sometimes you might just need to cut it in, it might suit what you need, but you have to keep in mind that, well, when you're making that, you're giving yourself this pole, this high valence point right here, and you're gonna get some weird shading issues. And if you don't address that, well, it's gonna affect your rendering. So we've got our other sphere here. So what we can do is, let's go, let's get Alt X. Hide this selection. Just gonna make a copy of this, hit Alt Q, and let's see if let's add a noise modifier to it. So we can do like a noise and see throw a fractal, see if this will give us kind of that cloud shape. No, let's see, we need it to go X, Y, and Z. These are way too intense. So no, we're not gonna do that. So let's do surface deform. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so I'm gonna hit M on the keyboard and see. So this will bring up our material editor, and I'm gonna try to find a map that is what I'm looking for. Would it be cellular? No. Maybe it is cellular. Let's see what cellular looks like. Alright. Okay, yeah. Cellular is going to be what I'm looking for. I want to make these guys a lot bigger. A lot bigger. There we go. Like massive almost. Because they're supposed to be clouds. Right? So we want something that is it's a little bigger. So we can use this as our displacement map. To displace the surface. So I'm going to do a spherical map, a spherical displacement map. And let's just increase the strength. Let's do F4 so I can see what's going on in this. And then I use this in here as well. Where's my size? Here we go. So I'm trying to find, let's unhide all. Now let's look at our cloud. Alright. So let's hide this guy. Actually I have one right here. Let's just do Alt X. And mine's still a little too lumpy. He's like way too lumpy because these guys are more like there we go. Something closer to that. Right, and we can do what I like to do is like I can blur this, so like I can increase the strength, reduce the strength, so I can give it just a little bit. Right. I might increase the size just a little more, and then no, don't do fractal. Maybe I can spread them out. I can spread them out a little bit more. Right. So, there's a bunch of cool parameters you can do with these, but, you can increase the mids, and then the highs. Right, you can do a bunch of cool stuff, but, we're just trying to make ourselves a nice fluffy cloud. So, let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna like kind of increase this blur a little bit, just so it smooths out some of these extra little bits and pieces here. Okay, so see. No variation. It's chips. No. Right. So right now my issue with it is I just feel like it's still like you can see these hard edges and transitions a little too much, and I don't really like that a lot. So I want to kind of minimize that. Let me see, maybe if I is there a new physical material? I'm gonna grab I'm gonna double click on that so that I can grab the color picker. I'm gonna pick a color from it, and then I'm just gonna apply it to our guy here. I feel like he's got some deformations. I think I just need to um, and I think that the biggest issue is if you look at this cellular map, right? The problem I think is that the white transition, the transition from the white to black is still a little too harsh. So I need to figure out a way to blur this. And I'm talking you guys through my thought process so that when you guys kind of encounter these kind of situations, you guys understand, okay, so what's the issue? What's going on? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? And you can walk yourself through it and solve the issue. Because a lot of this stuff is just problem solving. You're gonna run into a lot of issues, and you're gonna have to figure out how to fix it, right? So let's take a look at my cellular again. There you go. It feels a little better. And then, and I can even go back and you know I still have my Spherify in here too. So now let me see. Maybe I can throw Turbo Smooth on it. Will that fix the issue? No. I need to maybe blend this. Or let's see, mix. Is there still a mix? Let's see, general. Let's mix. Can mix this. Okay, let's see, general. I need to find something soft that I can blend it with. And what that will do is it's going to soften these valleys, or these valleys that we get. So it's not going to be as sharp, and that's the idea. That's what I'm trying to find. So I might use this gradient map. I might use this noise, or let's see what this noise does. Because I think I can soften this noise enough to where it'll do what we want it to. So what we're doing right now is I'm trying mixing both of these, and if I do by 0.5, right, it's going to, so I can mix them based on a map, or I can mix them using the amount. All right, so let's use this instead and see what we get in our displacement. I'm gonna cut this out because it's pretty much useless. And then let's just throw this inside of our okay. All right, so I'm mixing between the two. So now I should be getting something a little softer in the middle. I know you guys can't see it I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's mixing this this noise and this cellular together. So let's see. Maybe I can, I'm going to maybe increase the size a little bit. This is kind of looking a little better. It's giving me some of it. And another thing is these clouds aren't perfectly round themselves, right? So they're not perfectly round. So they've got kind of like a squarish, ovalish kind of shape to them. So I need to address that as well. So let's go in here and I'm gonna let's do a little bit of that. Let me see if I can add some points. I'm going to make this a smooth curve. And then maybe mess with some of these lows. So I'm just remapping this using an S curve. So I'm just gonna see if I can. I think I want to bring this to the high end, and that will cover some of that for me, like that. And this will blend it. There we go. Something like that. Something a little closer to that. Right? Because the problem was because of the cellular, you could tell, and it didn't kind of give you that variation that I was looking for. So now I want to bring this. Okay. All right, so the next thing we can do is we can just throw an FFD modifier 4x4, and then just start grabbing these points. So I'm gonna hit Alt and X, and I'm gonna just kind of move these guys out a little bit, and then just kind of square them off. Just move these guys in like that, maybe. Alright, just so the shape isn't too uniform. Alright, so you can see the shape of our cloud, and because we changed the topology, well, we're getting good, nice, even quadded topology already, and we don't have to mess with that after the fact. So that's good on us. Yes, you guys should give yourself a round of applause for this. You guys are awesome. You guys thought of this before I did. All right, so let's see. Next, we have we have like eyes and a mouth. So let's hide this for a second, and I'm going to show you guys a pretty fun way to kind of do that. So let's do F. F is going to bring us to our front view, and I'm going to just go here. to this. I'm gonna make a plane. I'm gonna put a plane right here, and I'm gonna put a I'll do a cylinder right here. All right, you guys will understand why here in a second, because everything starts off with these very basic shapes. So let's start with the mouth. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna hit edit poly E. I'm gonna hit E on my keyboard, and then it's gonna take me to edit poly. Select my edit poly modifier, and then hit Alt X on the keyboard. And this way now I can just kind of move all of these things into place. And I'm actually going to delete this side, so I only have to worry about kind of messing with one side. If you guys know me, I'm incredibly lazy. I like to do my work only once, and that's it. So do it once, copy it over. That's my motto. All right, so just kind of selecting, grabbing, and pulling these verts into place, and so that's all I'm doing. Nothing fancy, nothing to see, nothing fancy here. Just basic of pushing and pulling, and I'm making sure I'm in my front view, right? In my front view, it's flat, not moving it in any other direction. So let's go to F3 right here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to just chamfer this guy right here. And then I'm going to get two, spread them out a little bit like so. Okay, this is fine. Hit one on the keyboard, and I'm going to use this to kind of give me the silhouette of that perfect cloudy smile he's got here. Just so that, right. Actually, I'm going to move this guy. So what I want to do is I want to even out this transition, so I've got good topology. It's nice, clean topology. Good, clean topology is what we want. It's what we aim for. All right. Okay. So we've got a nice smile on this side. I'm just gonna select this guy, hit the symmetry, hit S on my keyboard. It'll take me to the Symmetry Modifier. We've got a smile going here. And now I can it's like this. And everything I do to one side happens to the other. Okay. So now we've got our shape here. And the cool thing about this is, because of how we're building it, I'll show you what I mean. So I've got my nice little smile. I'm going to just select the border. I've added an edit poly to this. All right, let's hit unhide all. And then let's just bring this guy on top like so. And these guys, I think they have kind of like a flatter face in the front. So what I can do is, let's go see. Q to isolate these guys. Okay. So now if I look at this guy, I'm gonna bring this guy out like so. Let's freeze this guy. And then what I want to do is hit 1 on the keyboard, and I want to kind of flatten this guy out a little bit. So I can do that like that. Maybe even just right. Just so I have something to. And I feel like I need more bulges to. I feel like maybe I need to. There we go. There we go. Looks more cloudy now. Okay. So let's click P on the keyboard to go into our perspective view. So now I'm going to select this guy once again. I'm going to hit Alt X so we can see what's going on. So this is the smile. I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to shift drag out this way. All right, and let's see. Actually, let's actually champ for this. Okay. And then I'm going to select these inside edges again. Actually, let's just throw turbo smooth on it and see what we get. Alright, so something like this is what we want. But this guy's got like little dimples right there that we need to emulate. And it looks like it kind of flattens out right here when his is more of like a round kind of lip. So let's fix those, like little things like that. And I'm gonna hit F4 on my keyboard, and what I can do is, so let's see. So if I show the cage, it lets me see the low poly of it. So now I can hit F on my keyboard, go and just make those minor tweaks that I need to make. And another cool thing I like to do is whenever I'm pulling and I want to make like more general sweeping changes, I can use a soft selection and then reduce the fall off quite a bit. So now whenever let's see, let's do edge distance, and then increase it a little bit. So now it affects kind of the general area and not just it. So that's another it's another cool little feature. So just trying to give you guys, you know, as many tools as you can possibly you know, that you're gonna need in and making this stuff. So this guy's got more of like a alright, so okay. Let's move these guys up a little bit. I just feel like these guys need better spacing. So move these guys back a little bit. It's got this kind of jokerish grin right now. Okay. So yeah, that's, you know, this is pretty much the process. And whenever you're by yourself, and usually you'll be listening to music or something, or doing your thing, and you know, this is pretty much the process. You're just pushing and pulling, and you're gonna turn on the turbo smooth to see how it's looking, and you know, so it's kind of, I'm kind of getting kind of close to what I want. I want those kind of dimples that he's got. And probably pull these in a little bit and then call this a day. Maybe let's turn this up. Let's go to F again. And then hit 1 on the keyboard. Yeah, like, you know, these guys need to calm down. So this would be those dimples. Okay. All right, so we've got our dimples in now. All right, so what I like to do is I like to always make a copy of it. If you guys know me, I'm a copy master. I'm Kakashi the copy ninja. I just like to put stuff on the side just in case something happens and I mess it up or something like that and I don't have it. I like to make a copy of it so that I have something to go back to. You know, by the end of it, I usually delete all the extras and stuff like that, so it's clean. It's a clean file. But I always, you know, whenever I'm about to do something like a crazy operation that I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, make it back from, I like to definitely give myself a chance to recover that. So you guys, you know, it's not a bad habit until you guys are, you know, so sure that what you're about to do is gonna work 100%. You never know. So I'm gonna throw an FFD modifier on here, and you know, all I want to do is kind of bend this guy a little bit, so just to give him that. So right, like just kind of like that. So whenever I fit it on the face, it looks good. So something like that, and then just pull this guy in. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually align this guy to the center like that, and then just pull this guy all the way out like so. So now something that looks like that. Let's go F3. Let's actually Alt X this so we can pull this guy to approximately where that smile would be. Right? Okay, let's hit Alt X, and what I might want to do is I want to maybe mix this up a little bit, just because there's like this weird dent right here, and since I'm only making one, I don't want that to be the one that that's it the whole time. So I'm just gonna maybe change the seed or something like that, so that there you go. There we go. All right. Let's close this back out and go to our FFD. There we go. Just so we don't have a weird, see, like I have this weird crossing one and I don't want that there. I want something. So I'm going to go back into my material editor again, and and this is just one of those just kind of back and forth until you get a variation that you like. Cell map variation. Maybe I can use this. Yeah, I'm gonna shift drag this guy, and then use this to maybe drive the cellular to see if I can get something interesting out of it. I'm just gonna double click into this. Not turbulence. Noise threshold. Alright, I think this is it. Alright, I can fit a lot of those features here. So now I'm just going to rotate this guy like so. Make sure that we've got this guy kind of deep enough in here. Alright, so I'm just gonna alt Q these guys together like so. Just so I can show you guys the idea. I'm gonna convert this to an editable poly, and then just gonna bring this guy out like so. Okay, like so. And then the idea would be to use booleans. Let's go to this compound. Let's do boolean. And then we can subtract this. So add operand, and we just pick that. But what we need to do is really need to actually go here, edit. Let's edit this mesh, select this outer part, right click it and cap it. You'll see why here in a second. So now if I add operand, I can subtract that from that. I'm actually gonna remove this guy from there, and then select this guy. The reason is it doesn't like capped holes. It almost likes these guys to be kind of like shells of themselves. So so I'm just gonna select this guy, hold down. Actually, I'm just gonna select this guy, delete, hit F3 on the keyboard, and then instead I'm just gonna throw a shell on this guy. So shell is gonna give us something that looks like that. Control A, shell, turbo smooth, something like that. Now I'm just going to pull this guy right back into there. Now this, let's see, let's do 2. And then now let's add, so let's subtract that. Result. let's remove this. And instead, let's convert this to a poly, and then let's try use pro boolean. And then subtraction, unhide all. And then let us start picking. There we go. Alright, that's the idea. So we're going to do something like this for the mouth. And the eyes pretty much just kind of stick onto there. So you know, the thing is, let's see. Let's see. Made. Yeah. So the problem with this is obviously you can see the geometry is really like it's kind of funky. So that's the kind of the cool thing about 3ds Max today is they've added a bunch of now like new retopology tools to it. So we can just go, let's go, I think it's called Retopology. It's literally called Retopology. All right. So we can, you know, face count, and then we can just compute it, see what we get. Right. And it's going to give us a new geometry that now has quad topology and is really good to go. Right? Just like that, we have a geo that's usable. So now I can just take my little cloud and you know, like I told you guys, I always make extras just in case something doesn't work. So let's hide these guys. And now all we have to do is make the eyes and we're done. Right? So that's, I mean, it's a relatively, you know, easy process, and it took me, I mean, 30 minutes to 45 minutes to kind of figure out everything I needed to do. But yeah, I mean, it's something that you guys can easily you know, use for whatever it is you need, right? There's a lot of techniques that I kind of covered in here, using displacement maps, you know, booleans, and cutting things out of other things, and that's the idea. Some of these techniques you might not use them now, but later on you might go, oh, what was that one thing that I saw, and that, you know, and then you can go back to the video and watch it again. Does anybody have any questions so far before I finish this out and kind of create the eyes?
We're all good.
You guys good? All right. So the next thing for us now is to just create those eyes and call it a day. All right. So let's do that. So I'll actually make it out of a standard primitive. Make it out of a cylinder, and then like that. So, you know, in 3ds Max, there's two-step operations, or two-step creation, one-step creation. Some even have three-step creation. And when I say two-step creation, you guys should know what I mean by now. You guys are in modeling and rendering too. But if I want to create a cylinder, I first need to create the radius and then the height, right? So I have to, it's a two-click operation, so to make that happen. There are some that are one step operation. Like if I make a plane, it's just one click and I've made a plane, right? So you have to understand that. So sometimes you'll be like, oh man, where's the thing that I made, or where's the little model or where's the object that I created? Well, it might be a two-step operation. It might even be a three-step operation. Sometimes you have to create the radius, the length, the diameter, and then you have to create maybe if it's a thin or thick, or you know. So you just have to know the kind of the kind of object that you're picking and using, and kind of work appropriately. So You can start these from anywhere. You guys know that by now. Where I could have made these eyes with a box. I can make it with, but sometimes you want some of the structure already there. So like, if what I mean by that for this is I want some of this structure already there. So I don't have to guess on how to kind of make a round surface, right? This is already perfectly round for me. And I'm going to use what this geo is already giving me to create what I want. So I'm just going to select this face, Control I, delete everything else, and I can just select these guys right here, right click, connect those, right, and then I'm gonna just right click, and then what I can do is I can just chamfer this. So I'm just gonna chamfer this like that, hit yes, control backspace to remove that guy, select these guys like so, and then just pull them down, right? Just like that. I didn't have to do anything other than split it down the middle and then just pull it for that eye shape, right? The roundness is already there. I don't have to try to push and pull if the geo's already there. I don't need to do the extra work for all that stuff, right? Let some of this stuff help you, and then now I can just create. There's a little white inside the eye. Select this guy. Actually, I'm gonna just select this guy like so, and then hit like that. Make a copy of it, a smaller copy, and then I'm just gonna attach it to this front one in the center. Hit F on the keyboard. Hit Alt and X. Hit M on the keyboard. This is gonna take me to my materials, and I'm gonna add like a black material to the eye, and then the white material to the sheen of the eye. I don't think it's like the iris or the pupil or anything. I think that's just like the reflection, the faux reflection that cartoons tend to add. So I'm gonna give it a second while it autosaves so it doesn't corrupt my file. Please don't corrupt my file. I haven't saved yet, but there we go. We're good to go. All right, yeah. So that's another thing right there. Don't forget to save, man. Save early, save often. If you don't, that could be your project. That could be your homework, and you don't want that to happen. And you don't, trust me, because then you're gonna come to me and say, "Oh, the computer ate my homework." And I'm like, "Whoa, it's an old excuse. Nobody's buying it." All right, you fired. I don't know if that's too soon. I don't know if we can do that anymore yet. So, but let's see. Yeah, we're almost done with this guy. We're almost done. Yep. So right now we've got this eye part. And another thing I noticed is you see this, the pivot for it is it's all the way back there. What we want to do is we want to affect that pivot in this hierarchy. This hierarchy tab. I'm going to affect the pivot only, and I'm going to center the pivot to the object. I'm going to turn this back off. I'm going to go back into the object. Now my pivot is centered to my object. I am good to go G to G, as the young kids like to say. So let's grab this guy. I'm gonna throw a shell on it. I'm gonna throw a little Shelly, right? Throw a little Shelly on it. Whoa, way too much Shelly. Let's bring it back, Shelly. Let's bring it back. All right. Boop. That's enough. That's enough. All right. So, whoa, Ty has messed up once again. Look at this geo. This is terrible. We didn't even fix any of this, right? You guys need to fix your geometry. So the quickest way to do that is you need to connect these two. So you can right click and go granny style, like, and then look for the connect function and then connect it. But me, being the cool guy that I am, right, what I do is I have a hotkey mapped to my connect. It should be left on my keyboard. Boop. Didn't do it. Did it do it? Did it not connect? All right. Well, if you were cool, which I'm not obviously because I don't have it mapped. I thought I did. I probably didn't load my hotkeys, but I put things that I do in repetition on a hotkey. That's to say the least. So that I don't, I'm not doing the same, right? These little clicks that I'm doing, that eats up over time. That adds up like throughout the day. Clicking unnecessarily, it will add up throughout your day. So I'm just gonna delete this guy because I've already done that. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm extremely lazy. So now that we've got that, let me add maybe 1 or 2 segments here. Let's turn on the turbo smooth and see how this guy acts like a beaut. Look at that. Look at that eye. Hey, that's a good looking eye. Alright, we're going to hit W on the keyboard to pull this little sheeny thingy majiggy out that everybody loves so much in their animes. We're going to add ourselves the white sheeny material. Yes, that's the technical term. Sheeny material. And just like that, we've got ourselves the eye. The all-seeing eye. Then we just got to move it in place. Just got to move it in place. Let's get Alright, to know if it's in the right place, we're going to hit Alt-X on our little cloud over here. Hello, cloud. And what we're going to do is we're going to select those guys. We're going to put them right where they're supposed to be on this guy. Like so. Hit F on the keyboard and then Shift drag. Make that a copy. We're good to go. So let's hit Alt and X. See what we got. Look at our little cloud. Alright. There we go. Look at our cloud. Happy as can be. Hello, Cloudy. With a chance of meatball. Alright, so does anybody have any questions for me?
I would like to ask, I do not have 3ds Max personally, but I do have Maya. And I remember learning how to do modeling in Maya with you. So for modeling things like this, how much of that could carry over to Maya?
Very easily. Cool. Maya does all this stuff. Maya is actually very good with like displacement maps and stuff like that. So all this stuff can easily be done in Maya. I'm not gonna be like I'm the one that's gonna be able to show it to you because I don't know how to replicate a lot of the steps that I did here in Maya, but it is it's something that's very possible in Maya. It's not out of the ordinary. These are very simple operations that we're doing here. And if you guys remember, Maya had that retopology tool way before 3ds Max did. We were using that and 3ds Max didn't have it. It's that little thing that you guys, I don't remember I don't remember what it is now, but you like do a little under thing and then you type in retopology and it retopologizes it in Maya, and I was like, man, that's awesome. So yeah, it's all possible inside of Maya. You've got no worries there.
Thank
So
you.
yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so if you guys don't have any other questions, that's gonna be it for class, right? Like I told you guys, this is pretty much how class is gonna go. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna look over your work, I'm gonna do a demo, and we're gonna either, if you guys have stuff to show me, we're gonna look at the stuff. If you guys don't have anything to show me, then we can go. If I have a lecture for you after, I'll give you the lecture. Today it's just gonna be the demo. Next class we will have a lecture. So please be there. Tomorrow is a work day, so work on your stuff. Work on any model that you want from the Mario collection. And if you guys want to coordinate together, you guys can put up a sheet and then you guys can put your name behind the ones that you've done so that at the end of class, we can all have something cool to do together. So is that something anybody would be down with, or you guys are just kind of like, I'll make whatever I want to make?
That sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, I'll start a sheet and then everybody can put their name behind like what model they're doing or whatever, and you know, on your own time, you can try to kind of complete the entire image yourself and see how far you get along in the project. Which is, you know, the idea of it is that by the end of like the whole modeling project, by the time you get to the end, you've got a good grasp on how to model pretty much anything that you want in any software that you want, really. Because these concepts pretty much translate to all other um, modeling packages, right? You just have to kind of find their equivalent to all of the tools that I'm using. So, you know, if I'm displacing the mesh, well, you have to just find something that says displace and, you know, little things like that, right? And that's why vocabulary and reading I always feel like is very important because a lot of it explain, you know, it just kind of explains itself. So now that you know what a displacement map is, right, you can go, okay, well, I need to find something to displace my mesh, and you'll find that tab, you'll, you know, and you can then kind of navigate and it'll bridge a lot of those gaps for you. So hopefully I'm kind of shedding light on some of the stuff that you guys are going to have to deal with. But yeah, other than that, I mean, okay, so earlier we started working on this guy and we did the booleans and everything, and I wanted to just kind of finish it out in a different way because right now he's kind of asymmetrical and I wanted to kind of fix that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw a symmetry modifier on here. So let's throw a symmetry modifier on here, and we're gonna get something that looks kind of like that. Alright, so if I hit F4, so if I hit F4, I've got my widget like that. So something like that. Kind of cloudy, right? I don't even have to weld it if I want to. Because I'm just going to retopologize this entire thing anyway. So I'm just going to... Right, so actually... Let's just hit the... Let's retopologize. So let's just... Boom, and then let's just calculate. 5,000. Actually, we're going to throw an edit poly on top before. Select the center like that. Select the border, and then right click. Well, actually control select so that it selects the verts. Right click and then weld. Right now it's going to weld quite a bit, but I'm just going to do it at 0.01 and then hit the check mark. And now I'm going to try to select that again, and now I don't have a border there, so that means they're welded. So now we're going to use our Retopology tool to get some better looking geo for this guy. So let's compute this, and then boom. Just like that, we've got new topology. Let's unhide all. Let's hide selection. Hide selection. Okay. So yeah, just like that. Got ourselves a little happy cloud. And now, because we have good topology on it, we can throw turbo smooth on, and we'll get even better topology. I was like, we can get actual smoothing out of it now. right? So now we've got our clouds. So now let's set them up. So let's do unhide all, and then so let me actually save this because I'm gonna start removing all the stuff that I don't need from it. Just gonna save it, and then I'm gonna do my duplicates, and then we're done. Just like that. Just like that. Simple, 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 simple. Just gonna select that and then delete. Select that. Oh, no, no, not that, not that, not that. Don't delete that. Select that guy, delete it. I don't need this stuff anymore. Alright, this is all construction stuff. This is all construction stuff. So now, let me just select all this. So my here, I can group this. So cloud, hit OK. So now that we've got the cloud, we can just make them an instance of each other. Two of these. Let's see. And they look like they're kind of squished in. So what you can do is throw an FFD modifier on there. Hit one. Hit one on the keyboard. Okay. I'm gonna make them a copy. I'm gonna make them copies then. Instead of instances, let's make them copies. That was annoying. Let's do FFD 4x4. Let's do Alt X. Okay, so I think the problem is the scale. Let's just scale these down. Okay. Okay. Alright, and you know what I'm doing is I'm still, after the fact, kind of shaping it to it a little bit, just to fill out that the form. And I'm going to do that for all of them. Because if the idea of this is like a marketing piece, right? So we want it to be kind of close as possible to what's going on. Okay. Okay. So you can see that I'm still at this point. This is like the finishing part of it, right? Like, you know, I showed you guys how to make it on that first part, and like this is how you would kind of finish it off and really kind of take advantage of what you've got. Move this guy's face closer to where this one is, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do the same for this guy. Move their faces closer. Right. Just gonna make this guy a little fluffier. Right. So now we've got our clouds in here. All right, let's see where we are at. This is another semester, another part of this, right? You know, you just kind of start small, and then you just kind of build out. Just build out. Start small, build out. Start small, build out. All right, we've got our clouds in. We've got our little dudes over there in. I mean, hey, this guy's starting to shape up quite a bit. And we've already made the coin, so I can bring the coin in to kind of, you know, start populating the scene a little more. Because we've got quite a bit more done. So we've got all the coins done as well. Yeah. So next is maybe this guy or the bullet. I think it's time to start addressing these bullets. And yeah, these guys are cool. They have this one's got a kitty cat ear, so yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff. All right, definitely check out the video. Definitely watch the first part or watch this part. How just to finish off how we started it earlier and making sure that everything looks the best it possibly could. And you can there's still little things you can do to this, right? I would expect you to go in and choose your own how you want that displacement to look, and how you might want to switch that symmetry modifier on this, and there's a lot of different things you can do. So yeah, have at it.